What's up everybody, and I'm back with my Japanese Grand Prix race review. I'm going to do it slightly different this week, and I'm going to go through 5 things that caught my eye in the race. So here's number 1. McLaren look quick when they start, don't they? So Piastri got into the lead for the race and he was pretty much on course to win it, but it was just the unluckiness of the safety car due to the Oliver Bearman crash, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But Piastri has looked quick when he has been in the car. He's 3-0 up against his teammate in qualifying, although he's 1-0 down in sprints. Yes, he's had 2 do not starts, but we've just seen what he was capable of last season, where he outpaced Norris for the majority of the season, and then he had that awful end to his season. But so far so good. Piastri is looking pretty quick. I just hope Piastri is able to continue this form for the rest of the season, and McLaren's shown that they have found some pace in the car, so now they've entered the championship battle. I know they're probably not going to win it, but they're looking to be now the second fastest team versus Ferrari. Remains to be seen, but based on the pace and how Piastri was able to hold back off Leclerc, I could see the battle now for P2, the championship, just being up and down, up and down. It will be track dependent as well. Number 2. Bad starts are still hurting Mercedes, and it seems to be their weakness this season. They have a fast car in qualifying, in race trim. However, they need to sort their race starts out, because they've lost, I'm not sure what that number is, but they've lost so many places now off the start. Kimi Antonelli actually got a good initial launch, but then he bogged down in the second phase, which dropped him back all the way to 6th. And then you had George Russell being overtaken by a couple of cars as well. If Mercedes can't fix their race starts, they are just going to get gobbled into the pack. So unless they can fix that, this is going to be their Achilles heel from race to race. Yes, we saw in the sprint that they were able to lead into turn 1. However, if they continue this, it's just going to dent their chances of being 1-2 all the way down the road. So they'll have to battle through the pack. And as we have seen this race, they don't do well coming through the pack. Now, we're coming up to some tracks where it's really, really hard to overtake. And if this happens, then they're going to lose some serious points. But I still think the championship is theirs, both of them. Number 3. Lewis Hamilton's in trouble. As you know, I'm a big Lewis Hamilton fan. I want him to do well. But we've just seen now that McLaren have now entered the chat. It was okay when it was just Mercedes and Ferrari as the fastest 2 cars. But when you have more teams into the mix and he's not qualifying well, for example, he's going to find it difficult to get through the pack. And he did, in defence of Hamilton, have some issues with his power, which is why he got swamped by Leclerc and Russell. When you throw other cars into the mix and he's qualifying badly, he then has to fight through the pack, and it takes him a little bit longer than other drivers would. So this is an area that Hamilton does need to improve on. Yes, he's very good over 1 lap, but it's been a trend over the last few years that when he doesn't have the confidence in the car and he qualifies badly, he then has to fight his way through the pack. When he's at the front of the field, yeah, he's awesome, he's pretty good. But these bad qualifying sessions are really denting his chances of finishing up the pecking order. So Hamilton, please, I'm begging you, please sort this out, and I'm hoping better things are to come. Number 4. Now, it would be rude if I didn't talk about the Ollie Bearman crash, and that was really, really scary. And this is one of the things that the drivers have been talking about with these new rule sets, that the closing speeds between the chasing car and the car in front, which car is losing power, the advantage that car behind has in terms of the closing speed, it's really scary. And they said this in pre-season, and this race just highlighted how bad this can be. Now, luckily, Bearman, he was able to walk away. Yes, he limped, but he's going to be okay, and we're grateful for that. But that's not something you want to see in Formula 1 in Grand Prix racing. So I'm hoping that the FIA can do something to sort this problem out, because I don't have the best reaction times. F1 drivers have amazing reaction times, and the fact that Bearman wasn't able to react quick enough to that, I wouldn't want to be in the cockpit when that's happening. So please F1, sort something out. And number 5. We've got to talk about the Triple Crown. It's when the driver puts the car on pole, wins the Grand Prix and gets fastest lap. Now, Antonelli is the first driver in the championship's history to do it in back-to-back Grand Prix. No one's ever done that. So Kimi Antonelli fully deserved. Such an unfortunate shame about your race start, but other than that, you drove really well. I hope that Mercedes can get to the bottom of your race starts for both drivers, and we'll see really who is the better Mercedes driver. But at the minute, Kimi Antonelli's done everything that he can to ensure that he's in the best position to win the championship. I feel a bit bad for George Russell because he had an issue in qualifying where the balance wasn't quite right. So they tried to adjust that and made things worse, which he said was always going to affect him in the Grand Prix, and didn't think he had much versus his teammate to really go on and win the race. Yes, did well to come through the pack before the safety car, which really bailed Kimi Antonelli out. Up until that point, it was looking like it's going to be between Piastri and Russell for the win. Do I think Antonelli would have caught Russell? I think if he cleared the other drivers in front of him, I think that Antonelli would have been right up there with Piastri and Russell. But as for who would have won the race, hard to say, because when you're following the car in dirty air, it affects your tyres, it affects your performance, and being in clear air is key, like Piastri said last year. So those are my 5 things for this Grand Prix. Hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave post notifications on, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.